That is why I admire Salisbury, you know. Salisbury, stand up. And that is what we should have been doing all along. Because when you see the farmers of Calibishi, the farmers of Salisbury are going through the same kind of high prices for the inputs. You all know what I'm talking about. I can identify with those things because I myself is in my liquor farming also. So I can identify with the farmers when they're going through that hard time, the high prices with the inputs, the cost, the feeder roads, the feeder roads. These are things that need to be done a long time, but still nothing is happening. Absolutely nothing. Right? So people, we know what is going on in terms of with the government. We know they really don't care about people. They only care about themselves and what they can do among themselves. That's all they're really concerned about. Right? So that's why I love the people of Salisbury, because they can stand up and stand up strong to defend the people. And we need more of that in Dominica. We need more people to stand up. Right? So what we intend to do as a party when we get into office, we intend to bring technology. We intend to bring science to agriculture. That is the things that will help, that will make agriculture excited. Right? When you look at the way the government legalized marijuana, well, whatever they did to it, it's really nonsense. Right? What we need to do is to create an industry. Let the people make money, real money.
We are all victims of electoral rape perpetrated by a serial election race. After 23 years in office, you still have to steal elections. Dominica is not the scared family estate. The hour has now come for us, the overwhelming majority, to march forward and demand immediate implementation of the Sir Dennis Byron legislation in order to have credible and fresh elections no later than January 2024. This is the people's demand. We know for sure that we have the overwhelming majority of voters on the ground. So we must be bold and make our demands and stay on the streets until we get fresh elections. This is our single goal, and no one can stop us. You are rejected by heaven because God don't endorse thieves. The demoted priests and non-punana evangelists only put another curse on you. These fake men of the cloth and their deception will all go up in smoke.
So Dennis Byron was employed since 2019 by the Prime Minister. He's been paying him. When he asked for additional monies, this Prime Minister made it available for him to complete his work. How do you expect that Sir Dennis Byron would send a letter to the Honorable Lennox Linton, Senator Francisca Joseph, in the opposition, and not send it to the Prime Minister? And even then, the Prime Minister says he heard that on the media. He saw it. And he never took time to ask Sir Dennis Byron, why are you giving these people a letter and you're not giving it to me? So you know, right there. So the observers, one of the big things that the observers observed is that the Prime Minister lied to them. And they wrote that. But the Prime Minister has found himself in a position where he cannot go back. Because we are not allowing him to go back. He wrote the observers and said to them he will be asking them to come back with technical help to help us get electoral reform. This time it's not just the United Workers' Party asking for it. He has asked for it in writing. But we have a message for this Prime Minister. We are not going to allow this Prime Minister to go to Parliament and pass whatever he wants. The laws that are to be passed in Parliament for electoral reform are for the governance of Dominica. They are not for the governance of the Prime Minister. And therefore, the people of Dominica must participate in the consultation to get the law that we want passed in Parliament and not the other way around. We want him to understand that very clearly. It is out of that law, it is out of these laws that he gets elected. So it is not he that is there and then he passes the laws for us. No. The electoral laws that Sir Dennis Byron has recommended cannot go to the House just yet. It has to be made public for everybody in Dominica to read.
My brothers and sisters, look at the congestion of traffic in Roseau Central. The government has yet to move with respect to making Roseau more palatable for parking and to respect the businesses, because you know what? When people come to shop, everybody has a vehicle in front of somebody's place. You cannot get parking spot. The people cannot go to buy, and that is a big problem. Under United Workers' Party government, we will ensure that we have alternative parking for the people and to organize Roseau, whereby to limit the amount of vehicular congestion in the city of Roseau. And ask for the streets in Roseau. And ask for the streets in Roseau. We need a complete resurfacing and to brighten up that city. For this city to be an envy of the Caribbean, we need serious people to take on the governance of this country. Right? We need serious people. Now, brothers and sisters, we have been around for a long time to see that this government is not interested in the well-being of Dominicans. And we all will agree that this government continue to export our jobs and to export our monies outside. Dominicans are not being gainfully employed so that they can take care of the families and to ensure a better quality of life reach the doorstep. And we say to the truckers, rest assured that we as a government in waiting will ensure that we put policies in place to secure your jobs first as Dominicans. No project will go without a high percentage of the local truckers being employed on this project. It cannot happen again. That just cannot happen. Public servants, that sector is a very important sector. Look at St. Kitts, not too far from us. Every year from the CBI money, St. Kitts has been giving an incentive to its public servants. And when they do that, that urges the private sector to match up and to ensure that they treat their workers well. Every year, the St. Kitts government during this time ensures that the public servants get a double salary. Brothers and sisters, it is time now. Under the United Workers' Party, we will ensure we put the necessary mechanism in place to give you the necessary increase that you require to spur you to work and to perform in your work.
Everybody, put your flags up. Let me hear you scream. Let me go. Bowie on fire. Let me go. Look it, baby. This is how we do it. Tonight we come to rock a song.
You have done well for other countries. countries. And we know that you will not disappoint us here in Dominica. We will hold your feet to the fire. But we know as a son of the soil that you love Dominica more than anything else. And so we have the fullest confidence in your potential to move this country to economic prosperity. You all ready? Of course we're ready. Our plans for the development of Dominica is still the same. We are and remain the one and only political party that has the skills, the talents and abilities to move this country into a new era of prosperity and progress. They said Labour is still the one. I want you to repeat that UWP is the only one. You all ready? What we have to say, UWP is the only one. For job creation, UWP is the only one. For the revival of the agricultural sector, UWP is the only one. For the international airport, UWP is the only one. For an increase in our basic wage, UWP is the only one. UWP is the only political party that can take Dominica to prosperity. And tonight I stand tall and proud. I commit to moving with this party, to moving with this country, to moving with all of you into the new era for Dominica. Bowie, I love you.
The next 5 years is going to be the end of Roosevelt's carrot and the end of the Labour Party and the end of a dark age in Dominica, ladies and gentlemen. We have started the protest, the process in the United Workers' Party by electing a new political leader. And tonight I want to congratulate Dr. Thompson Fontaine as the new political leader of the United Workers' Party. It was a rough process. There were things that were said that should not have been said. But that's what a good leader does. You have to go through the fire, you have to get burnt. And when you rise up like the phoenix and you bring forth good things. Dr. Thompson Fontaine, as an economist, one with the experience that have worked all around the world, is what Dominica needed. And he is the one appointed by God to lead us out of this misery that we have been placed in by the Dominica Labour Party. We have lost everything in Dominica. We do not produce anything in Dominica. The only thing we produce in Dominica is passports to sell. And that is the lowest any country can get, ladies and gentlemen. Believe you me. Anytime someone looks to sell the asset that they have possessed, they are considered paro. And Dominica has been in the stage of a paro for the longest time by the selling of our citizenship. The sale of our citizenship cannot be reflected in anything productive in Dominica. We do not see factories. Our young people are running off our shores with the lightest opportunity that they get. They cannot build wealth in this country, and everybody is depending on the government. So they call that development. They call dependence on the government development. I say here tonight, it is not development, it is dependence, ladies and gentlemen. We need to start to produce. We need to start to rebuild, but we have to start within our own party, ladies and gentlemen.
And I remember praying to get older so that I could be a part of this wonderful experience. And I did meet some along the way, but I believe we can make it great again, but with a modern edge where young people are involved. And that's why it takes a village, and that's why youth empowerment and youth participation is needed and is very important. I have said this on many occasions, and many people know this, and I still stand. Salisbury has so many brilliant and talented young people. Jabawi! All you know I'm not lying. Okay. And it shows when we go out and we do what we have to do. And I'm not only referring to those who are good in academics, because we tend to dismiss those who are not as book smart, but there are those young people who are skillful, both men and women. The men on the block, the girls who may have had teenage pregnancy. We have to acknowledge them because they all can make a contribution.
But look at people, no cool out, you know. No cool out, no free bars. We're spending our own money. Brothers and sisters, people of Dominica, we're at the crossroad right now, and as one of your humble servants, I want us to take electoral reform very serious. We took action by staying home during the sham election on December 6, 2022. And we voted independently in Salisbury and Marigot. But we cannot stop there. We have to move on. We have to ensure that we get cleaning of the list, voter ID cards, access to a national radio station, and also campaign financing reform. We want to create a level playing field where everybody has a chance to run for a particular constituency, but everybody has a right to vote whoever they want, not for money, not under duress, but to vote for whoever they want. That is what we are asking for Dominica. That is what we are asking for from Salisbury, the playing field in Salisbury. Bowie, the heartland of the United Workers' Party.
Just like everybody else in Dominica, we want you on board. Ladies and gentlemen, we have fought and we continue to fight a good faith. We will continue to support the United Workers' Party. We continue to support our leader, our new leader, who is Dr. Thompson Fontaine, along with every one of the team who has continued to work for the betterment of Dominica. We have toiled. We never asked for money. They wanted to pay us, but we said, no, we don't want your money. We will stand up for integrity. We will stand up for justice. We will stand up for equality. We will stand up to fight for the resources of the state to be distributed among everybody, every one of us. Ladies and gentlemen, you hear the government of St. Kitts. They're giving their people double bubble. Public officers, how long have you gotten anything worthwhile? Christmas is here. What do you get? Nothing. COVID came, no stimulus package, nothing. But they got their stimulus though. He's a multi-millionaire. He built his fame on your backs. And we are saying tonight and every other night when we continue to agitate and we continue to protest that enough is enough. We're not taking it anymore. We are strong people, ladies and gentlemen, people of Dominica. Call your neighbors. Call all the people who supported Labour. Tell them, you know what? Come home. Come home to the United Workers' Party. This is the party for Dominica. This is the party that will rescue Dominica, that will provide jobs for our young people, that will help the farmers to grow, that will help our industries to grow, ladies and gentlemen. So we call on you to continue to support. I am so proud of you, and the members of the United Workers' Party is very, very proud of you for standing with us, for standing strong with nothing. You are victimized. You don't get jobs. Your produce don't sell. When they come for the farmers' money, you don't get it. But you still continue to stand. And you still continue to work. And you still continue to sell whatever you have. Because in the end, God is good, right? And He's stronger than the devil. And we know with God on our side, we're going to stand strong.
And when people steal from us, we have a responsibility to get back the money that has been stolen from us. Part of the problem is, one of the things we do when atrocities like that take place in government, when people are so disrespectful of us, when they're so cynical, they're so capricious in their behavior towards us, we change them. We bring somebody else. But that ability to change and bring somebody else has been taken away from us. We must fight for it. And so when we talk about electoral reform, all we are talking about is the protection of the right of the people of Dominica to decide on their government, not have one man decide on who government should be. That is what the electoral reform is all about. To give other people a chance to have a fair process. And you know, I don't know how well we listen across the nation, but I know that Marigot listens, and I know that Salisbury listens. And that listening ability, that ability to understand where Dominica is, and the leadership that Dominica requires going forward is coming from Marigot, it's coming from Salisbury over and over and over again. But I don't want you to lose hope, and I don't want you to get tired. We must keep going. So now, hear what happened. Hear what happened. We are fighting for a fair electoral system that will give us our government of the people, by the people, for the people. Skerrit has been standing in the way of that since 2008. 2009, notwithstanding the promise of the Electoral Commission in 2008 for ID cards and a clean list, didn't happen in 2009, didn't happen in 2014, didn't happen in 2019. In 2019, we were criticized across the country for contesting an election which we said was going to be fraudulent. And then after the 2019 election, we had the admonition of the Caribbean Court of Justice, which told us never again should we have an election in Dominica with that process that is poisoned, that is tainted against a fair result, which is rigged to decide that only one man and his gang will be in government. So we contested the 2019 election, we got the same rigged result. Then Mrs. Skerrit decides that we're going to have the reform now. So he hires a consultant, $650,000. And the consultant goes to work. Our laws have to be changed for the things we want to happen to fix our electoral process to happen. And he was working on fixing the legislation, fixing the acts of parliament. And then he's come to 2022, having been appointed back in 2020. And he's saying to the Prime Minister, listen, I am ready now to give you the first set of recommendations to fix the House of Assembly, not the House of Assembly, the Registration of Electors Act, which will take care of the ID cards for voting and will take care of cleaning the voters list. On the same day that Mr. Skerrit gets the letter, Mr. Skerrit runs in the night like Nicodemus and he calls the election because he doesn't want to have an election with a proper process. So he calls the election, and we said this election is a sham because it is coming 2.5 years before the date due under the Constitution for elections. There is enough time for us to complete the reforms and have a proper election, so we're not contesting. We're not regarding this election as being legitimate. It's a sham. And so, when you ask now what is ahead of us, what is ahead of us is to make sure we have elections, proper elections with a fair process and the proper legislation in place to give us ID cards, to give us a clean voters list, to give us access to media, to give us campaign finance regulations, to give us all those things that are required to fix the process so that it becomes fair to us.
Now, if we examine our history for the past decade from an analytical standpoint, we will see that we have lost a lot more than we have gained. And I don't mean as a result of Hurricane Maria or Tropical Storm Erica. That is not what I am talking about. No. We have lost part of our essence as a people. The qualities that define who we are as proud Dominicans, those qualities seems to be fading away. But we cannot allow that to happen. You understand me? We have respect for the rule of law, honor, country before party, transparency, independence. That is the qualities that a proud Dominican should possess. And we cannot allow those qualities to fade away. The young people of Dominica are faced with a major obstacle in their quest for prosperity and success. And that obstacle is the individual who keeps the office of Prime Minister to himself, whether the means are constitutional or not. We have a Prime Minister, but he's not the person who should be Prime Minister, because the means that he utilized to remain in the office of Prime Minister was not constitutional. We need to keep that in mind. After approximately 18 years under the leadership of Roosevelt Skerrit, how many young persons can say without any doubt in their mind that they are satisfied with the quality of life that they are living? How many young persons can say that? How many young persons can say that the talents they possess are making a positive impact in their communities? We have had and we will continue to have talented athletes here in Dominica. But at what point are we going to realize the value that they possess? At what point will sports become a priority again in Dominica? By now we should have an Olympic-sized swimming pool. The playing fields around the island should be upgraded. The government should be placing more emphasis on providing the resources needed to make young people realize the capabilities that they possess. But instead, they give us the impression that as long as we are Labour Party supporters, we will be okay. And in my opinion, that is complete nonsense. Another major issue we have been facing and continue to face to this day is the issue of job security. The unemployment rate in Dominica is unreasonably high, and that poses a serious problem to the country, to the economy, to the development and advancement of individuals. You cannot make any strides to better your life if you do not have a job. You cannot build a home. You cannot buy property. You cannot pay your bills or even take care of yourself. But if you do have a job, let's say you are one of the lucky ones who have a job, here is a few questions for you. Are you satisfied with your wages? Are you able to save after you pay your bills? Does your wages even cover all your bills? Isn't that a big problem? And we need to address that issue. Living paycheck to paycheck has become the norm, and if we have to consider the level of independence we once had when agriculture was still alive, when farming was generating revenue for families, and when we still had factories operational in Dominica, if we have to consider all these, we have regressed a lot.